Deadlands Dime Novels, The Adventures of Young and Holt, Issue 60, Aftermath. I'm your narrator, Ernest Wick, intrepid reporter for the Tombstone Epitaph. In this issue, with the matter of Samuel Reddington settled for now, Young and Holt returned to Denver to take care of a few odds and ends before moving on to the next and possibly last item on their list in the Mile High City, a showdown with the two-faced woman. Oh yeah, and Porter has to have a face-to-face with Jasmine. Well, there's plenty of work to be done, so let's see where they're at.
Intangible, you can feel it in the air. They're standing up on end, you know there's something there. In the shadows, hiding out of sight. Got a feeling in your gut, something's waiting.
We kind of open up, and you've gotten back to Denver, and the two of you are in Professor Waller's office at the Black River rail line. You've been here just a few minutes, and he's frantically kind of rearranging some of his books and laying out his notes that he took and his sketches and everything, and almost as if he's just kind of ignoring you, but as he's scattering around and doing this and doing that, he turns and he looks up at both of you and puts a hand to his forehead, and he said, Mr. Holt, Mr. Young, I cannot thank you enough for coming to find me and take me with you on this. This was extraordinary. It's going to take me a few more days to process everything that I saw. I've seen plenty of devices from the new science, but what I witnessed there was amazing. And then of course, what happened with everything coming out, it was just extraordinary. And just thank you, both of you. And he fervently just shakes both of your hands, one after the other. If you ever need anything, just let me, just, if you're in Denver, just come and find me. I will be more than happy to help you in any way possible, or go on any other adventures with you. This is amazing.
Porter kind of looks to Joshua.
Joshua looks back at Porter, smiles. I'm glad you said that, Professor. There is something we need you to do.
Oh, yes. Well, please, by all means, tell me what is it?
Let me just confer with my associate here. Joshua steps over to Porter, kind of hushed tones, bends down to his ear. So we want the professor to give a full report in our stead to the agency, right?
Do we?
Well, he knows and can give them insight into contacting and communicating and sharing knowledge of these giants.
And we don't have to write any reports or anything like that?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm okay with that.
He can carry our receipts back, too.
It's a good idea. I think we have some unfinished business here still.
So we should probably wire ahead to the office, let him know he's coming, and then just give him the address, but not tell him who he's talking to.
Everyone thinks about it for a little bit. Yeah, that's probably about right.
All right, I'll let you handle it, boss.
Porter kind of takes a moment. Professor! Buddy!
Yes.
Joshua's chuckling in the background.
So, we could use your help, actually. I even gives him the little finger guns as he says that. We have someone we'd like you to meet. And he would be very grateful for all this insight you've collected today and prior. And especially if you could lay it out in a more academic fashion than we're capable of.
You mean everything that we just encountered?
Yes, and he may have other questions for you of things under your expertise that we haven't seen, done, encountered.
Oh.
And I'm sure he'd be more than willing to offer you more information than we can provide you as well of this sort of nature in general.
Wait, so you're saying this person can provide me with more information based or in relation to everything that we've just dealt with?
Potentially,
as sort of an exchange, possibly.
Oh.
I figure it'd be good to get all, to sort of bring all our information together in one, so no one's left caught unaware should something like this happen again.
Look, Professor, I'm sure you're dying to tell people and folks about this. We're just suggesting the first person you tell is who we suggest.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yes. I can, yes. Well, I would imagine if the general public knew about a large band of resurrected giant beings, that might not necessarily sit well. I've already heard plenty of strange rumors, tales, what have you, from other people, whether it's just mere conjecture or, I guess now, possibly even fact. This we don't want to generate any more fear, I guess would be the best word I can think of.
Now, I'm not saying all the rumors you hear are true. I'm just saying it would be good to just keep everything to ourselves, perhaps. And this person you're going to meet. So, I'm going to, me and Mr. Young here, are going to wire ahead and let him know that you're going to be coming. And we're going to give you, we're going to buy you a couple train ticket to where you need to go. And I'm sure he will have someone meet you there and get everything organized and handled in the way it should be.
So you want me to actually travel somewhere as opposed to just relaying it by wire?
You did say you would be willing to do anything for us.
Yes. Yes.
Because he's going to have plenty of questions that, as we were in the middle of some very hectic circumstances, we're not going to be able to answer.
And I don't want to speak for our associate, but he may be able to put you in such a position that this may now become a full-time opportunity for you so that you don't need to work for the railroad anymore.
Oh, yes, I see. Well, okay, yes. I would need to take care of a few of affairs here, of course. But yes, please pass the information along to me, and I'll be more than happy to pursue this for you. Again, as I said, yes, I would be willing to do anything in this regard. So I'm happy to assist.
Excellent.
And who is the name of the individual? Just so I know.
I'm afraid we might have to keep that a little secret. He's going to meet you there and look for you specifically.
All right.
Think of it as security.
We like to keep you safe.
That's right.
Porter, make me a persuade roll in that regard, just to see exactly how much he trusts you.
Oh boy, that's not going to go well. Let's see how that...
And Joshua, if you want to support Porter in this effort, I'll give you a +1.
All right, so Porter's persuade check.
+1.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Oh, there we go. Oh my. Oh Lord. Oh God.
Damn.
Joshua's
Wow.
standing behind him playing with his gun.
You aced 4 times on that D4. That is ridiculous.
Boy, where was that yesterday?
Jeez. Okay, so yeah, 18
Yes.
is the final result. You get done saying that, and Professor Zig, he nods and he looks at you very with confidence in his eyes, and he just says, "All right, it will be done. You've proven yourself more than capable, and I'm happy to do my part."
I'm glad to hear it, Professor. Bert will give him a little clap on the shoulder.
He smiles and gives you a little nod, and then he says, "Well, then, if you excuse me, I need to continue to make some and refine some of my notes because I want to make sure I don't leave out any details."
Of course.
As we close his office door behind us as we leave, I'll look at Porter and go, "Glad we got a top man working on this."
Man, I can't believe trying to write all that down. That'd be horrible. Oh, maybe we should just let him do it from now on. I think that's a good idea.
So, now what kind of message are we going to send the home office?
We'll tell him we're sending a witness with all the information that he could ever want about what happened.
Our report will be delivered in form of Professor Zig.
Yes.
Handle with extreme caution.
And you're sending this to Ingersoll, is that correct?
Correct.
We'll be sending something along the lines of, yes, our report on the situation will be delivered by Professor Zig Waller, who will be arriving whenever we, via which train tickets we buy for him to go to, is it Minneapolis?
Minneapolis, yes. Are you going to give any indication in your telegram that the threat was handled, or that the threat eliminated, or situation under control? Are you going to give any sort of details to that effect?
Reddington's device disabled. Details to follow.
That's excellently vague. All right.
Yeah, more information to come via courier.
I will. I'll give you each a fate for that little smarmy or sassy response, I guess, would be a better. Okay.
Because we did do a good job in stopping him, but we did a bad job in the other results. So it's our first mission. We don't want to.
He does not have control of 90 plus giants in his command. Yes.
Yes. And we're not really sure who has control of them now.
Open market. Feel free to bid.
From there, we go to, and this, whether this occurs before or after, it's kind of a moot point. But either the two of you or just you, Joshua, I'll let you guys decide. You find yourselves kind of on the porch outside of a saloon. Zach is standing there, and he's leaning up against a post as people mill about on the street and walking in and out of the saloon. Zach's holding a bottle of whiskey in his hand, and he just kind of looks at the two of you, or the one of you. He looks at you, and he takes a pull off the bottle, So, kind of kept my mouth shut the whole way back, because I was honestly just happy to get out of there alive. You want to tell me what the hell it was that we saw?
I think hell's a good word for that, Zach. And you know, you really can't tell anybody about it because they think you're plumb crazy.
Yeah, that thought has crossed my mind. They all walked away, though, and I saw that guy in the coat who was running the show. He got away. Those things are going to stick out like a sore thumb. You think they'll come back here?
They're far enough away and in a secluded valley. I ain't worried about nobody really finding them right away. And they're probably disoriented and don't know what's going on. So if they do manage to find their way all the way out here, it's going to take a while.
But they came like right out of the ground. Takes another pull off the bottle. That means, I mean, they were buried in there. Those were burial mounds. They're dead. They were dead, and they got up. Now, I've heard strange noises, in the night, sometimes when I've been out on camp, and maybe thought I might have seen, a funny shadow here or there, but I ain't never seen anything in broad daylight that's bigger than any man I've ever met, and I've seen some big ones in my day. They come out of the ground. Why you seem very nonplussed about all of this?
Well, Zach, you a drinking man?
He looks down at the bottle. Maybe a bit more the last day or so than usual, but not too much.
That's understandable. Reason we're not so shaken is because, well, how familiar are you with some of the new science?
Oh, I've seen plenty of things up around the skies here, and heard of some crazy tales of some things.
Well, I was in an outhouse a while back, and I came across a page in the Robards catalog while I was, doing my business, if you know what I mean.
I do.
And they had these things, automatons, or I don't know, something like that. Basically, these, I don't know, locomotives on legs, if you will, that could perform tasks like shoveling coal or mending fence. Well,
Yeah. I've heard of them. Like metal men.
Like metal men, yeah. Well, we were in Deadwood, and we saw this Reddington feller make a giant metal man. And he was stopped, and that's why we followed him here, because we knew he was trying to make an army. And that's what you saw come up out of the ground, moving around. Now, I don't think you can say it's anything unnatural. It was just misunderstood science, if you will, that newfangled science that just does things it's not supposed to at times.
So are you? He kind of scratches his head a little bit. Are you saying then that those were metal men that came out of the ground, or were they just regular men?
See, I think he used the mounds as a cover to build them, and then that fancy lightning show.
Yeah.
That's when he tried to turn them all on at once, and that's what we interrupted.
Oh.
So they're probably just walking around out there banging into each other, all clumsy, since they've got no person pulling their strings.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about them too much. But again, it is a crazy tale, and I wouldn't be telling nobody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, metal men. Yeah, that makes some sense. That makes some sense, I guess, in the perspective of everything. Zach takes one more pull off his bottle. He says, All right. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go talk. I'm gonna go and talk to the rest of the hands, and I think that'll help make more sense of it all.
Some of this stuff is just really hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah. Well, and the fact of, I mean, that valley was weird to begin with just everything kind of just changed up a little bit. But all right,
Yeah, the boss understands more of that stuff than me. I'm just hired gun like you.
I guess that's why he's the boss. All right. Hey, you take care of yourself, old timer.
You too. Handled yourself well out there, except for that one bullet in my back.
Oh, yeah. I should apologize for that. I rightly don't feel too good about that. I don't know what came over me. I just that woman in the dress. I came upon her, and I told her to not move, and she did something really fast, and I guess I hesitated, but then it just, I don't know. It came. I mean, she's already was a bit bewitching in the way that she looked, but I guess I just kind of came more under her spell or so than I thought I did, and for some reason,
Hell, Zach, don't let it worry you none. You know, we all do weird things for women.
yeah, I just I feel bad about that. I didn't. I mean, I was a little sore at I was a little sore at both you and the boss, but we agreed to do what we agreed to do, and I wouldn't. I'm not the kind of guy who takes that kind of vengeance. I just want you to know that.
Well, you keep the story to this to yourself, and I'll overlook the shooting in the back, and let me just take back all those words I said before we went into the valley. You got quite the spine on you.
I appreciate that. It was. I think we were all just feeling a little bit of duress. So, well, all right. I'm gonna holds up his bottle. I'm gonna go finish this off, and you have yourself a good night.
Will do.
Yeah, the store is open. There certainly is some foot traffic in here. Molly is nowhere to be found, but Alexander is definitely there, and he's got his little apron on, and his eyes kind of light up when the two of you walk into the store. He gives you a nod of recognition, and once he finishes up with the customer that he was helping, he kind of makes his way over to you at the edge of the counter where you're at. Oh, gentlemen, it's places a hand on both your shoulders. It's good to see you again. I was a little worried, but the fact that you're here sends me some good news, I guess. Yes.
Well, it's good to be seen. Better than the alternative.
Well, very true. At least and the fact that you can see me back, I guess, is what makes that good.
Want to say thanks for the hired guns you found for us?
Oh, of course. I'm sorry that I couldn't find more on such short notice, but they came recommended enough.
A little shaky towards the end of the valley trip, but they pulled through in a pinch.
Okay. Did they all? You say pulled through? Did they all pull through? I mean, did everybody come back safely?
How many did come back with us?
We never actually.
We never did. You had a total of what? There was a total of 11 of you.
Yes.
That included
Us two, Zig, and the guide.
All right, so there were 7 of them. I would say they lost 3 for sure, and 2 others were wounded to a point that they're, I mean, they made it, but they definitely are laid up. It was Zach and one other person who escaped unscathed, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it was a dangerous situation, and not everybody made it out. Did lose a few, and the rest of the couple didn't get hit at all. The rest are laid up, but they'll recover.
All right. Well, I guess that's considering the circumstances and what they were up against. There is no loss that's acceptable in this regard, but I guess in this case, it's about the best we could hope for, I suppose.
Now, time wasn't on our side with this venture, and by the time we got there, Samuel was already doing whatever it was he was doing. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with that valley that we ventured up to, and the burial mounds, and
Porter's gonna kind of put a hand on Joshua. Should we talk about this out here?
We can go out back if you'd like. It probably might be a little bit more quiet out there.
Also, can you bring me up some chocolate?
He grabs a bar and hands it to you. Considering the fact that it sounds like you were at least successful enough, consider that on the house.
Great.
Jacob, you want to take care of these folks here? I have to take these two gentlemen out back.
and shoot us.
Yes, and gun them down execution style. No, really, please, by all means, you go first. He takes you through the store and out back, and you're in that fenced-in area that you were in before. And he goes and sits down at a chair that's out there. So please, continue.
Joshua will look at Porter. Shall we tell him everything?
I think he should probably know everything.
All right. How familiar are you with the burial mounds of legend?
Well, I mean, I certainly know that a lot of ancient tribes, and even some not so ancient, make use of those things. But is there some other degree of this which I need to be familiar with?
Actually, yeah. Each one contains 3 separate chambers. And in those chambers, the way that they would bury their dead, these ancient tribes, would be in circles of 11. Now, the valley we rode into had 11 mounds in a circular manner. So I'll let you do that math on how many were buried there.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Yeah. Was our Mr. Reddington, he was trying to duplicate his what he had done in Deadwood?
Yes. And instead of on individual, he was trying to do all of them at once.
You see Alexander, he leans back, kind of takes a deep breath and lets it out in a low whistle. Oof. That's a lot. I'm assuming next you're going to speak of the fact that you put an end to that before that happened.
Porter kind of looks away and up to the sky a little bit.
Joshua looks down at his feet, slowly brings his hat up to look at Alexander. I'd love to tell you that, Alexander, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Oof, what are we looking at here? You partially stopped him.
Well, let's just say he ain't got control of that mass, that new tribe that's out there. We managed to interrupt a bit of it, but the majority still came to.
So we've got upwards of 100 giant-sized native peoples back from the dead somewhere roaming around the Rockies right now. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, they're contained to a valley, And outside that valley is not nice territory. So it's going to take them a little while to get anywhere they need to go. And I don't know how much they're going to be wandering around, since it didn't appear that Samuel had control of them.
Well, I guess if he didn't have control, that's a good thing. But I guess not knowing exactly what they want to do, or what might be on their ancient, now reborn minds.
Plus, we don't know enough about what he was doing to know if this is a
Temporary?
permanent thing. I mean, they could all wind down like a clock in a few days.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. But in essence, we traded one problem for another, but it might not be as bad of a problem.
That's the way I like to think of it, yes.
All right.
Handling a few that wander out here and there, I think, is a whole lot better than 100 marching on a city.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll wait for some orders from the office, but I think for right now we'll probably just be a bit more actively aware of things. We're not going to go out hunting, but we'll just keep an eye out.
I would, yes, just start thinking about how you might handle this sort of situation should it come up.
I'm definitely going to have to do a lot of thinking on that. All right. You know, not that he kind of lowers his voice a little bit. Not that we like to, publicize the fact that we kind of work across enemy lines, but I have a few, they're friends. Since I've officially retired, I have a few friends who were Texas Rangers, and they might be able to help shed some light on some of this. They handled this kind of thing on their end, but this is something new for me. All right.
Well, this story's already pretty tall. Really hard to swallow. Takes a long spoon to get it down. But one thing that you might want to also know is that Reddington wasn't alone out there. There were these women in long yellow dresses.
And blue.
Oh, that's right, and blue. They had, don't know how to explain it, but it almost seemed like one of them was flying through the air.
That makes a little bit of sense. My guess is those were probably associates from the order that Mr. Reddington's involved in.
And I don't know enough about this order to know that if he doesn't check in on a regular basis, more might be coming through to investigate.
That's certainly possible. I'm going to keep doing some digging on that. I've gotten a few more leads in regard to this order. They are certainly a quiet, secretive lot, which makes sense. But if I find something, I'll be sure to convey it to Ingersoll, and if he wants you to go after it, well, then he'll convey it right back at you.
Are we forgetting anything?
You tell me.
Let's see. Flying women, army of giants. I think we covered it all.
Oh, Reddington got away.
Oh.
I don't know if we covered that.
You did not, but it's good to know. Well, if we go with the assumption that it appears that you said that Reddington didn't have control and Reddington got away, odds are if he brought these back, he's going to want to get some control back, and that probably is going to keep him occupied for some time, which I guess in a certain sense is good for us for right now in the short term. But like I said, I guess we'll just have to keep a passive eye on it, which is something Molly and I are pretty good at.
All right, sir. We've taken enough of your time, so we'll leave you be.
Okay. Thank you again for helping out with this.
Come on, Porter. Bring your chocolate.
Sorry to be the bearer of such bad news. Thank you again.
You're very welcome. Enjoy it. It just came from Charleston, South Carolina. I would make a joke about it being a little chewy, but I won't, being a Charleston chew.
So Porter, in the past couple days, obviously, has not used his abilities. He has no reason to. He doesn't use them wandering about. His sleep has probably been a little better.
It has been. There's been a distinct lack of any sort of nightmares or any sort of dreams out of the bounds, in relation to what you just went through.
He's played with the burst gun. Trying to, and it's just sort of fiddling with it. He's like, maybe if he just did this, we just narrowed this little focus here. It just, things seem sort of familiar to him when he's messing around with it. Not that it's really, he doesn't dare shoot it or anything like that. So, not especially because there's no real room to do so.
Yeah, unless you want to, blow the wall out of
that's
your
exactly
room.
what I want to do. But maybe he's just kind of putting it off. Now that he's ruined Samuel's thing, he's started thinking a lot more because he's had a couple days to just sort of cool down. And he's like, the last time he met with Jasmine, he did ask point blank what she wants from him. And everything just still seems odd. But she's not done anything to hurt him. Everything he's done so far has had no downsides that he's noticed. But he's just kind of psyching himself up to go back and see her. Pushed it, because now that he doesn't have that singular focus on Reddington, the sort of fear is sort of creeping back into him again, slowly. But he does need to do this. He promised, and if it'll help him, he deal with Reddington in the future, because he still didn't have enough power in order to take down Samuel. He threw his biggest bolt at that machine, and it did nothing. So, it's time to go talk to her.
All right. And she was at the
Brown Palace.
The Brown Palace. All right. As you approach the Brown Palace, you get closer and closer. You start having, like you're saying, a lot of mixed feelings. Are you? It's kind of how you felt. If when you had to walk to the principal's office, or you knew that you were going to be in trouble, but yet you kept reminding yourself, I have nothing, I didn't do anything wrong. I have no reason to feel like I'm in trouble. And so you have all of these conflicting feelings, and you get into the Brown Palace and make your way up the stairs towards Jasmine's suite. And the two guards who were there before, they see you, they recognize you. They look at you, nod, open up the door. One of them does say, "She's in, but wait here." Points to the little, kind of lounge area.
Porter will just sort of tip his hat and head over. Well, he's going to keep his eye on him, though.
Okay. He walks into Jasmine's office, or Jasmine's, her, not necessarily her office, but her room. Opens the door, shuts the door. He's in there no longer than 30 seconds, and he comes back out and he says, "She will see you." And he just walks back towards the room entrance.
Deep breath, Porter.
not that deep.
Okay. Oh. All right. And straightens himself up. Gives a little tug at his. Oh, I should have. Probably should have got it cleaned. It was rolling on the ground.
Just pieces of grass popping
Sort
out of your suit.
Brushing it off. Well, I mean, obviously, it's been a couple days, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, and head on in.
Well, this looks like it will be an interesting talk. We'll find out exactly how interesting and what it means for Porter's future in our next issue, Dear Jasmine. The part of Porter Holt is played by Brad Smith. Joshua Young is played by Brent Rich, and your intrepid marshal is played by Chris Hussey. This game references the Savage Worlds game system available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at PEGINC.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle, and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings, and unique characters, locations, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Thanks also to Fear the Boot. Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Intro music by Half Deaf Clatch. Some sound effects by Plate Mail Games. Contact information for the cast as well as music links can be found on our website, youngandholt.com. If you enjoy these issues, please consider dispensing a lovely 5-star review on wherever you do listen from. Please search for Fear the Boot Actual Play. It's very kindly appreciated. And if you listen on YouTube, please like and leave a comment. And as always, please tell a friend or 3 about the show. I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph. And remember, sometimes in a relationship, the things we give up of ourselves might just be what the other finds most attractive.